What's up everyone? Today Elite announced 3 new products at Eurobike 2024 and this is the second one that I'm going to be covering today, and that is the Elite Avanti. Previously I covered the Elite Square and now we're on to the Elite Avanti, which is sort of Elite's new mid-range trainer. And this sort of falls in an odd spot at the moment because of the way that pricing has really dramatically shifted recently. So I'm not sure how competitive this trainer is going to be, but it certainly does have some very enticing specifications. First of all, in my mind, this is sort of like a mini Elite Justo 1, so their previous one, and it comes in with some pretty impressive specifications. And first of all, it does not include a cassette, so that is going to add to the price that you're going to have to pay, which I'm going to be covering later on in this video. First off, you've got plus or minus 1% accuracy. That is up to standards with what you need to be racing in some of the top levels of Zwift racing. And it's overall just a signal that you have a pretty much top-end trainer and there's not going to be any accuracy issues whatsoever. Now we will have to put that to the test once I do get this in for review, and I will be doing that later on, so check that out later in the fall. So next off, in terms of the maximum power, we've got 2,100 watts. Now that pretty much matches the top trainers out there on the market, and unless you are Mark Cavendish in his prime, I don't think you're going to be hitting those numbers, unfortunately. And if you have, you might have missed your calling to go pro, as Zwift likes to say it. So let's move on to the next specifications. As with most of Elite's trainers now, it does come with some flex feet, which is something that Wahoo sort of started, and you can sort of get a little bit more side-to-side motion with squishy feet. So the one that's included in this is going to be 4.5 degrees to the left or right, and normally on the Elite Justo you have a 7-degree one, so that's going to give you a lot more flexibility. But in my opinion, I don't think these really make that big of a difference. They're sort of just very subtle changes that most people aren't going to notice when moving side to side. You're going to get a lot more something like a rocker plate, which offers like literally you're swiveling back and forth, which feels a lot more natural in my opinion. The Elite Avanti also holds a 4-kilogram flywheel, which is plenty in order to make your ride feel as realistic as possible. And basically how it goes is the bigger the flywheel tends to be, the more realistic it feels. In my opinion, most trainers do feel the same, but the top ends do feel just a little bit better. So if you're looking for the maximum realism, I would recommend checking out a higher spec one. Now, the trainer is compatible with 12-speed Shimano or SRAM, and it also does include a 12-month subscription to the My eTraining Elite software. I don't really know of anyone who uses that, and it's sort of just an extra perk that I think they're trying to throw in to sort of match Zwift's 12 months with the Wahoo Kicker Core Zwift 1. I don't love it, and it's sort of just thrown in there to make things look a bit better. I don't think anyone's really going to be using it. I don't know how big their user base is, but I certainly have not heard much about their My eTraining system. So sort of a downside to see that thrown in there instead of something like a 12-month Zwift subscription, because that in people's minds is worth like essentially $100. And it actually makes sense in people's mind because if we hear My eTraining, nothing really says, oh, I'm going to end up using that software instead of Zwift. Now, as with most top-end trainers, you're going to get auto-calibration in there, and along with some other Elite perks that you do get that the Justo did feature early on, and that is 10 Hz faster transmission. You're going to get ERG Easy Ramp. You're going to get Shimano Di2 control, so you can control the resistance through Shimano Di2. Not quite virtual shifting, but sort of close. And in terms of virtual shifting, Elite has not said that it is coming to their trainers, or at least not yet. So we don't have any of Zwift's virtual shifting that has been very popular amongst the community. And lastly, you're going to have the ability to bridge Ant Plus and Bluetooth. So if you are Zwifting on an Apple TV, you can connect that and then it'll connect directly to that. So you only have one Bluetooth connection. It's not trying to connect to different devices. And then sort of the last spec is the price. It's priced at 750 euros and 849 US dollars. That is quite pricey, and that is sort of moving into the My Thoughts section. That is about $200 more than the Wahoo Kicker Core. I would have liked to see something like a $750 price range. That would have been a lot more justified. But with the Wahoo Kicker Core, even though it's a really old trainer, it does have a lot more integration with Zwift. And it's also just proven to last a long time. Most people don't have issues with their Wahoo Kicker Core, and most people have been very happy with their products. We've had ours for a really long time now, and we haven't had any issues whatsoever. So I think that if they were to lower their price about $100, it would make the trainer a lot more competitive and really throw it into that sort of entry level direct drive trainer. And with those specs, it can really perform well because plus or minus 1% accuracy, you're only seeing that on trainers that are $1,000 plus. But at $850, I don't know if this is exactly what Elite needed. I think maybe a trainer that was plus or minus 1.5% and then priced at $699 would have been a much better deal and much more enticing for the community to purchase. That's pretty much all I have to say about this trainer at this time. I will be getting a lot more details, and I will be having this trainer on hand later on this fall. So if you want to see that video, please drop a like, subscribe, and with that, see you all next time. Check out my other videos about the Elite Square Smart Bike and the Elite Justo 2. See you all next time. Ride on.